Good afternoon, everyone. Jason here. Today is October 1st, and this is your aftermarket update. All right, so it was a good day here at the Oil Trading Group. We had a really nice CL opportunity today. It didn't necessarily start out looking like it was going to be as big a day as it ends up being on the CL. In fact, let me bring the profile chart over in front of you here today. And so as we were sitting down looking at the CL today, there's a couple things to note here. We had a very narrow range. In fact, it wasn't until later in the day when that market ended up breaking out that the value area high represented by this green line here actually moved up. The value area high was around 73. Well, actually, for the day, it ends up being about 73, 73. The market really was contained. We talked about this in the trade room today, how initially coming into the open and then really for the first couple of hours, the market was really in about a 70% of the value, or the value area, 70% of the market was trading in about a 27 tick range. And so we knew it was very narrow in terms of scope and activity, and we were just really cautious. One of the things that we talked about here today is, I'm going to turn off the RTH levels for just a moment, turn on these ETH levels. One of the things that we talked about is that we were looking to target up here to 74.31, 74.30 actually, and that's the target that you're going to hear me talk about when we get into this trade. It was kind of sloppy trading conditions. One of the things that we had mentioned is that we were looking for right up here at this 77, 78 area, your daily structure target. We were looking for the market to do something like this. We were looking for it. Let me get the tools on here. We were looking for the market to rally up, and we talked about actually this in this area, kind of halfway point, coming up into here, and then you would be looking for a pull back. And then you would be looking for a breakout above this level here, and then looking to carry the market all the way up into, really, we were looking to carry it all the way up to here. And so what we did as our first trade of the day is we end up getting in long. It ends up taking me out down here, moves all the way back to 65. And then we ended up getting back in long again over the top of this 78 on the time that it pulls back up over the top. And so that is the big trade that you're going to see us take here today. We got shaken out a little bit here. I originally got in short or got in long a couple of times around 63 right off of this level, come back, take me out of break even. And if you go back into last week, let's pull this up here. If you go back into last week, with the exception of Friday's trade, let me pull this out here. With the exception of Friday's trade, you had some pretty narrow trading days going back into last week, right? This day here, the range was 132 ticks. This day was 89. This day was 91. This day was, the range here was very narrow as well. And so again, some very narrow trading days going back into last week. And that's really, again, when you look at the way today started, with the vast majority here of the volume being captured in this very narrow range, it was a little bit suspect as to whether or not it was going to move. One of the things, though, that we did talk about today in the trade room is this is your RTH session profile. And one of the things that we were talking about to look at as the possibility that we could be looking to get long is you had A period, B period made a higher low, C period made a higher low. Then you had the D period, which did not make a higher high over the C period, but what it did do is come right down one tick off of the open of the C period, and then the market began to rally. So it was in that window of time where we were looking at this formation. We said if we can get up over the top of this 77, 78, and really we were looking somewhat over the top of this 63. Anyway, we end up getting stopped out here. You'll see that on the trade of the day video. And then we do end up getting long over the top of this structure target at 78. And then the market comes all the way up and takes out our target up above. Now, we had talked about potentially carrying it all the way up into this 75.08 level. But again, given the nature and the stall that we did right here just a little bit, My trail stop was at 28, and the market really, this is after the European session closed, so there's no guarantee it's going to continue to rally. Of course, it does make its way all the way up into that extension one. I didn't take all of that, but we did have a very handsome trade on our hands today here on the CL. So what I've done is what I always do. I let you hear where we get into the trade. Then I cut the trade down into pieces, let you see when we get to break even, let you see another chunk of the trade, and then let you watch where it is that we ultimately get out of the trade to end that particular trade. We speed up the tape, put a little music behind it so you get the gist of what the trade of the day looked like. And so without further ado, here is the OTG trade of the day. Long 78, stop 66, target 74.32. 74.30 rather is the target.